Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. This is going to make a lot of people happy. I know a lot of people in the DBD community that watch me are killer mains. Hi everyone. This one's going to make a lot of you happy because there's something I kind of held out judgment for a little bit because, well, Dead by Daylight, good old behavior, for a while has been a lot better about adjusting and making changes to things that the community does not like and the things that the community IDs is either OP, problematic, etc, etc. Usually if DBD the behavior sees a problem with something now, they'll actually go out of their way to adjust and try to make said thing better. And I really appreciate common day behavior because if you guys remember back in the day, if you guys have watched Reacts, you probably see this a lot, is that modern day behavior changes things relatively quickly. Even that window is like 4 months or so, because old behavior would just be like, oh well, dead hard OP, who cares? It doesn't get changed for literal years. We used to have to deal with really bad metas, really bad perks for quite literally years, and it was absolutely miserable. And it's honestly one of the reasons that a lot of people point out, it's like, I'm miserable with the game and you're not, and that's stupid. Well, like, because I've lived through parts of the game that were like tremendously worse, like way worse. Like I said, Dead Hard was the way it was for quite literally years. I lived with old Dead Hard, the invincibility and distance one, for literally years. Literally, I dealt with that for years. So if a perk is like the same way for like 4 months, it doesn't really faze me because like, I know what it's like to deal with something that's actually awful. But I will say that sometimes something slipped through the cracks, and for some reason behavior seems to turn a blind eye to certain perks and perk combos that are disgusting despite how receptive to changing the game they are. And the big one, the boogeyman in the room, is obviously going to be For the People Buckle Up. For the People Buckle Up, if you don't know why it's OP and why it's really frustrating, it's because it quite literally has zero counterplay and grants an entire health state to a survivor. The combination functions is that Buckle Up gives you endurance right off the floor for a certain period of time, and the problem with that is not in fact that you get that endurance status effect. The problem is that For the People counts in terms of picking them up and healing them. It's not like We're Gonna Live Forever, you pick them up and now they have endurance, but you had to spend the time picking them up at least. Now, For the People, which is an instant button instantly pops them up, instantly gives them endurance. But the problem is not only that do they get endurance, is that you, the person who actually activated the For the People, also get endurance. So the answer is not go after the person that did the For the People. The answer is not go after the person that just received the endurance. And the answer is not wait it out, because with the 10 seconds that you have having endurance, you could most likely are going to be able to reach a tile or some sort of thing that you can loop, unless you were actively in a dead zone when it happened. Now, to some of you may be wondering, hey, well, why don't you just, slug them out and try to find that person? Well, the problem is that if that person was hiding well enough, you can actually activate For the People Buckle Up before your weapon wipe animation is even over. Yes, you heard that right. You literally can run in, activate For the People Buckle Up faster than your weapon wipe animation can end. I've had this happen plenty of times, not as often as you would think, but I've had this happen plenty of times where I've downed somebody and somebody's run in with their sprint burst and popped the person up before my character is even done wiping their weapon. It's absolutely ridiculous because, like, quite literally, you cannot do anything in that situation. You can't. You are stuck in an animation after successfully hitting the survivor. You can actively not do anything about this situation, and by the time your weapon wipe animation is over, like I said, they have 10 seconds to run anywhere they want. And for the most part, when you down a survivor, they're usually in some sort of loop, jungle gym tile of some sort. A lot of situations I've had with this have happened at Shack, where I down somebody at Shack and somebody slides in, gives that person endurance and props them up. 10 seconds of endurance gives you a whole another loop of Shack, and you're still at Shack afterwards. So you are literally looping at the strongest tile in the game, and you get 10 seconds to loop that tile with an invincibility state. So yeah, and the other option is just hit them straight off the floor, but then they get a speed burst, because you always get a speed burst when you're injured. So you're, once again, actively helping them reach another destination that has either a pallet, window, jungle gym, something. They have some sort of tile that they can loop by giving them that speed burst. So it's essentially just a lose-lose for the killer that's not in any way earned by the survivors. Literally, the only counterplay that you feasibly actually have to For the People Buckle Up is to just and this sounds funny and perhaps mean, but this is literally it, is to just tunnel out the person that has For the People Buckle Up. Literally, the only way you can prevent that perk from activating is to actively tunnel out the person that has it so they do not have the ability to use it. Or just micromanage keeping that person injured the entire game, which when there's 4 people to take to keep track of, that is actively impossible. And they're nerfing Mangle by the time the next chapter comes out, so that's going to be even harder to keep people injured. So yeah, once again, this is a little side. It's like, I don't know why they're actively like nerfing healing or anti-heal for killer when medkits are still the strongest survivor perk in the game. I don't get that. I don't know why that's happening, but this is not what that video is about. But for some reason, despite this, behavior does not seem interested in changing this. And it's starting to get almost to that kind of like that la 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 can't hear you elephant in the room kind of situation where despite the fact that they're wanting to, for some reason, slightly adjust Demogorgon in a way that's just not at all really doesn't all really matter that much. They're not going to adjust something that has actively been making killer players miserable for quite some time, and they just have no willingness or incentive or outspokenness to actually do something about this situation. Matter of fact, we're getting more intel and more of progress on the changes for adrenaline over For the People Buckle Up. Say what you want about adrenaline, but at least adrenaline is earned because you have to literally win the game already to get a active use out of it. You don't just like get adrenaline in the middle of a match and it wins the game. You get adrenaline if your survivor team has already completed all the gens. In that case, you're mostly already on the way to winning anyways. But For the People Buckle Up quite literally has no meaningful prerequisite besides being healthy, which you start the game that way anyway, so you can just play super stealthy and immersed up until the point that you actually have to activate For the People Buckle Up. Then you can slide in with your Sprint Burst or whatever exhaustion perk you have and just pop them up right away. And I think it's so puzzling too, because this would just be like, you know, theoretically a fairly easy fix is just make Buckle Up not work on insta heals. Like if there's something that pops you up immediately, like For the People, something that gives you an instant health state, have it not activate Buckle Up. That's it. That's all they would have to do. But who knows, because somebody made a joke today that was really funny because we were actually having a conversation about this on stream. It was like, well Bran, if they actually addressed For the People Buckle Up, demo shred would break. And you know, honestly, probably, because you know the whole game's a big old spaghetti cone mess, so who knows what very dangerous or broken thing might potentially happen that they have identified if they actually change For the People Buckle Up. But also at the same time, I have a funky feeling that it may not perhaps be a technical issue, but it's probably more them just kind of not wanting to change it for whatever reason. But I don't know why this is. It just doesn't make sense. It just like clashes with new behavior, because like I said, old behavior used to take years to fix things. Now they're fairly receptive to the point where they're actually actively reworking multiple characters multiple times. Still not getting them right, by the way. But the attempt is there, that they're trying to actively fix the problem even if they keep getting it wrong. So it just feels odd and almost cognitively dissonant that they are simultaneously trying to be extremely on top of it and extremely receptive to community feedback, but just start like ignoring this huge elephant in the room that has been annoying and frustrating our games for quite some time. And I don't know why. I don't know why they're just overlooking it. I don't know why they're ignoring it. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall in behavior's offices so I can see why they just completely don't care about this issue at all, despite how good they've been in other areas recently. Like I just don't get it. It doesn't, they seem like two different companies in terms of how they treat other things versus the For the People Buckle Up situation. Like, I don't know why. So yeah, I waited a bit because, you know, usually now the time frame, the longest it'll take is like, you know, 4 to 6 months to get something changed. But we've been dealing with For the People Buckle Up for quite some time, and it seems like they just kind of don't care to fix it, which is weird. So why do you guys think that behavior is ignoring For the People Buckle Up? And please don't tell me it's just that behavior hates killer mains, because it's not what's happening. So please give me a more reasonable response other than just, well, behavior is survivor sided. Please tell me something that is actually intelligent and probably realistically is probably happening, and not just whatever weird bias you got going on. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below. It's gonna be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching, but I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.